We'll call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Okay, Mayor Westergaard.
Yep.
Voltman.
Yep.
Reese.
Yes.
Huss. Here. Steinkamp.
Here.
And Cleveland.
Okay. No public forum, consent agenda, additions, corrections. If not, we need a motion to approve.
Just that we'll include a closed session at the end of this meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second.
Roll call.
Steinkamp.
Yes.
Voltman.
Yes.
Reese.
Yes.
Huss.
Yes.
Cleveland.
Okay, resolution 1505 is approving the plans for the Camp Crescent restroom.
Yes, this is just a procedural issue about go ahead and finally approving the plans and specs. And everything was in order on this.
We have a motion to approve.
So move.
Second.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Voltman.
Yes.
Reese.
Yes.
Huss.
Yes.
Steinkamp.
Yes.
Cleveland.
Yes.
What happened there?
Nothing, still a problem.
Okay, resolution 1506 is awarding the contract.
This awards a contract to Rodert Construction. Aaron?
It looks good, it does, Scott.
Okay.
The only thing I haven't seen is the addendum portion.
And it's, like I said, that's just the standard of AIA stuff. And that's why I didn't even give it to you. General conditions for the contract.
Sounds like he's in a submarine.
Is it? Yeah. Rock. Everything's in order on the contract, so we'll need a motion to approve 1506.
15. Yeah. So move.
Second.
Oh, sorry.
Roll call.
Voltman.
Yep.
Huss.
Yes.
Steinkamp.
Yep.
Cleveland.
Yes.
Reese.
Yes.
What's going on back there, man? You're making noise.
Well, it sounds like you got a big bird in there.
It's
No,
you.
it's you.
I think it's you.
Maybe shut
There's a
Skype
penguin
off.
right alongside of you.
Sorry.
No.
It's a chain parakeet.
Okay, 1507 is the SRF, that's that project application. And I'm sure Scott wants to bring everybody up to speed on that.
Yeah, let's take a look at this. I'm in the packet. And
6.
it starts on page 6, but this is just the narrative portion of the project, and they ask you for a lot of information about, mainly they're determining that you have a structure in place to administer the grants, and that you really have a plan in place about what happens in your watershed. So the several pages, there are actually pages of information about the Black Hawk watershed studies. And that a lot of it actually, this information just actually comes directly out of those studies. But when you look at what our proposed practices would be, it's on 9 and 10. Basically, we would propose that we would implement some urban practices with this money. Remember, it's about $45,000. So this would say that we would focus on things like construction of bioswales, bioretention cells, rain gardens, as well as then addressing some areas of washout of storm sewers. Those are the areas that were identified. Now, when we put this application together, though, the SRF people really would encourage us to be somewhat vague in the way that determining which projects for sure would be done. Again, they want to know that you have a structure in place and that you got a plan that you're going to follow, but they would like to actually work with you as you work through determining what projects it is that you're doing. So you look at page 10, and it doesn't show up nearly as well in black and white, but there's some ovals on there for a couple of proposed larger bioretention cells, and those are right out there by Dixieland and the marina. And another one could potentially be north of Boulders or Ryan's out there. And then the storm sewer washout areas, those are primarily on North Shore. But not limited to those areas, just we know that there's some out there that could be addressed. So then as we look at the project schedule, that's on page 11. Remember that this would occur in the same timeline really as what the disinfection project would occur out at the sewer plant. And that construction for disinfection would be during the summer of 16. And this would propose that that this construction of these bioretention cells, or whatever it is that we do, this would also then occur in the summer and fall of 16, completion date of April of 17 on all of these practices. Page 12 lays out a budget. Again, intentionally vague about this because we don't define cost by project or anything like that, just in general, figuring that there's some planning costs, some design costs, construction costs being around $39,000, then with miscellaneous costs at $2,000. $45,000 would be the proposed amount of the budget for this. And again, that is that, say if we had to take out, in this case it would be a $450,000 loan, and we're eligible for this additional 10% funding. That is then there's no additional cost to repaying that loan because the amount of the interest rate is reduced, so that over the life of the debt issuance, the total cost is the same for the $450 plus the $45,000 as it would have been simply for the $450,000, which would have been at a higher interest rate. So total principal and interest over the cost of the loan is the same. Page 13 is a resolution on this that we would have the council support the sponsored project application. Any questions on that?
When you talk about design, is that just something that we're doing ourselves, or is that?
We're likely will work with Soil and Water Conservation.
Okay.
And Derek, the urban watershed manager for Western Iowa. That's where a lot of it comes in. These numbers were actually numbers that Derek had given us. He said you need to show that you're going to have some sort of funds available for planning and design, but the bulk of the money would go towards construction.
Yeah.
So does he get paid too, or is he always paid?
He's an employee of the state of Iowa.
Okay.
And we
Department
could,
of Ag.
we could use this money in the watershed, but we wanted to use it in the city limits if we could the first time, so everybody here sees the benefit to it.
Sure.
Because we don't have, 40,000 won't do anything for the watershed, but 40,000 could do fixing some tile or rain gardens, so that's why we wanted to put it here instead of
Well,
there.
well, FSA, they pretty well fund a lot of that money for the watershed anyway.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, on the
they have a
side.
bunch of different grant applications,
Oh, yeah.
or excuse me, grant funds that are available to help farmers out
Well,
there.
them guys get, they're getting good money, they just get paid off of that.
Mhm.
It used to be anyway.
Yeah.
I don't
And it
know.
still is because they have these grant funds. They're able to work with other regular programs that are out there for farmers to use, and then they just kind of piggyback one on the next one, and by the time they're done, it really gets the farmers' cost share down quite a bit.
Well, they've done a lot of work,
Oh yeah.
from here to Asbury,
But, like all that hard armoring on Carnarvon Creek, said they got that down to where it's 10% farmer,
yeah.
and the rest of it's different programs and grants. So that's worked out real well for them.
If everybody's okay, we need a motion on resolution 1507.
I'll make that motion.
Second,
I'll second it,
roll call.
Stankin,
Yes.
Reese,
yes.
Huss,
Yes.
Waltman,
Yes.
Cleveland.
Yes.
Okay, 469 is our ATV ordinance proposed.
Yep. When I rewrote this, we have an existing chapter in our code about all-terrain vehicles and snowmobiles. So I basically just rewrote the entire chapter to renumber all of the paragraphs and have it be consistent and everything. But as we look at anything pertaining to snowmobiles, there's no change in the ordinance. Okay, but the ATV and UTV stuff is then consistent with what the county proposal would be. Did you come up with anything on that, Ted?
Okay.
Okay, but mainly want to look at page 16, and it's section 7506, unlawful operations. So you're not allowed to drive an ATV or a UTV at excessive speed, in a reckless manner, while intoxicated. Okay, you gotta have a headlight and tail light. Okay, you cannot operate the ATV on any state roads within the city. And that's includes then the highway, of course. Also includes North State Road, South State Road around the lake. Okay, can't operate it in any tree nursery or any area of planting which may destroy it. Okay, the other big thing though is you cannot operate it on any public land. It would be in violation of any signs that were posted there. So, and we could have Ted then, as the police chief, he may post signs in case of an emergency. And also, operation is not allowed in H in any park, wildlife area, preserve, refuge, game management area, or any portion of streams. So Ruth was real concerned about that and wanted to know for sure that ATVs could then not be operated within the campground. So it wouldn't be able to operate ATVs within any park, and that would include the campground.
But they use the same rules as stop signs and all that. They have to stop, more so than the cars.
Well, you're supposed to use the same rule, so more so, yeah.
Because I see, I know a dozen cars a day go through my stop sign. I was just wondering, they just roll through.
They don't even slow up.
These will roll too.
Yeah.
That's it.
Uh-huh.
And this is an ordinance, so we'll read it 3 separate times.
Yeah. The other things of note is bottom paragraph on page 17.
Do you have enough law enforcement to take care of this besides the automobile?
I hope so. Maybe we'll have to have a police ATV. Maybe we could talk
Get
to
you a
you.
I don't think this year.
Maybe Jerry will donate.
Good try, cowboy.
I don't think it's in the budget.
Yeah, right.
But that bottom paragraph again is, I think, important. The operator has to be 18 years old, has a valid Iowa driver's license. The vehicle's got to be registered, and that is that as you would normally register an ATV through the DNR. And you got to have proof of insurance complying with that required of the operator of a motor vehicle. So just very similar insurance to what's required for a car. Okay. Now this is the same language again that the county has.
So they'd have to carry proof of insurance with them? Is that what, if that's okay?
There's a lot of different exemptions within the state code as it pertains to ag lands and ag uses. So on top of 187507 talks about that their ATVs used for ag purposes are still exempt.
Oh, so if they have a farm, they can still go to if they live in town, they can go to their house without having a license and stuff.
Well, they don't have to have their license insurance. They're exempt from.
Okay, well, yeah.
That's basically why we're doing this, so the farmers could leave town, go out and farm. And
Well, that's
that's why this all came about in the first place.
But they don't have to, their part is not gonna change.
No, it just makes it legal to actually drive them in town to their
Yeah,
house. So.
I know we got stopped a few times, going on blacktop.
I just have to tell my children, you're going to the farm.
Quite a ways away.
Well, you can't even do that on the state road because you can't have it
No.
up.
No, I think they're exempt, aren't they? Is that an exemption, the state road?
They are, yeah.
Ag uses, if it truly is ag use,
Oh, I say.
it's exempt. But I don't know about the status of state roads though. You'd have to rely on the chief on that one, whether you could ever ride it on a state road.
I don't think even farmers are allowed on state roads. I
Where?
have to look at it and see them. I don't think they are.
Never used to be, I know that.
That doesn't stop them from doing it, though.
Correct.
Well, you gotta get caught.
Yeah, you gotta get caught.
Have a 460 tractor.
There you go. They won't stop that.
Again, page 18, second paragraph down. Now, this is the penalties section. And it made no changes to the penalties from what the Sac County ordinance had said? And is that what we would like it to say? You know, $65 is minimum fine, maximum $625.
That's why we're doing this, to be the same as the county.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
was-
I think it's,
It simplifies a lot of things.
Yep, section 7509 is actually one that we have in place already in the city code, as well as same thing with 7510. And then 7511 and 12, this was something that we put in place several years ago. At the time, it was because snowmobilers were running their snowmobile across the open areas of water in Town Bay.
oh, yeah.
And anyway, that says if you happen to lose your vehicle into the waters of the lake, that there's charges for services for our police and fire units to respond. So that's why that's there, and it's been
And if
existing ever since November of 11. It looks
They
like.
don't have a deal on there, like, I think Okoboji, they got, what, 24 hours to get it out of there, and what, a $10,000 fine?
Well, that falls back on the DNR on some of that stuff.
Oh, I see.
That's why this is not it's not a fine. You know, if you put your snowmobile in the lake here, there's not a city fine. Okay, it's a charge for service for us having to respond.
The only good thing about that is we might hit a few ducks.
To,
We'll talk about that.
We're working on that.
so we
Any-
need a
Motion.
motion to approve that.
This would be the first
First reading.
Are we able to waive the second and third on this? or
Yeah,
is
yeah.
that
Or
a good
I'd
idea?
suggest maybe that you wouldn't. There,
Okay.
people may have some interest in this.
Okay, I'll make a motion, we approve the resolution.
There's second.
I'll second it.
Roll call.
Okay, Waltman,
Yes.
Stankin,
Yes.
Huss,
Yes.
Reese,
Yes.
Cleveland.
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna do the Raider run and walk again. They need permission from the city to close the streets.
And it's not that it'll be a street closure, but just approving the routes, approving use of the street. And the police department's been informed, they're on board.
So move.
Second.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Waltman.
Yes.
Reese.
Yes.
Huss.
Yes.
Steinking.
Yes.
Cleveland.
Yes.
Okay, we got information on the pickups that everybody wanted.
Yeah, I wish Bill or Lon could be here. Lon said he is actually cooking dinner tonight for his brother-in-law, Brett Pugh. Brett had an open heart procedure.
Oh, really?
And he is just now home, and anyway, they were getting together to help him out with dinner tonight. And so Bill was going to be here to discuss pickups, and then we just got a call on the electrical outage here 20 minutes before the council meeting was going to start. So
If they're not here, I get extra.
By default, right?
I'll try to go through this with you just real quick, but it's proposed that we would purchase one pickup for Public Works, one pickup for the electric department. The one for the electric department would be the one that Bill drives. Okay, so this is the one that's out there on the road, puts most miles on. It's proposed then that they would get an F-150, but it'd be the same. This is actually the same package that we bought for Lon last time. So it's a heavy rear end, and has some different ones about the step boards and this type of stuff. Has some
But it
backup
don't
camera
have
in
the
it.
EcoBoost, right?
Okay, now it can. Page 21 is the price with EcoBoost, and that's $29,264. Page 22 is price with the straight V8, and that was $29,004. So it's $260 more to get an EcoBoost. Both Lon and Bill would recommend that they would get the EcoBoost.
Oh, yeah, I thought they didn't want that. Or
They
not talking
did
about
want
bonds, but-
Yeah.
But they're getting 8-foot boxes, cause they need them.
Yeah, well, yeah. I'm sure that's cheaper without the 4-door.
But Champion and Carroll is the cheapest.
Champion and Carroll is the less expensive. So they got those bids from Champion. They do have a bid from Larry Beckman on the EcoBoost one. And then they also got a bid from Rex Chevrolet. Rex does not do a half-ton with a beefed up rear end. You got to go up to the 3/4 ton. And their price on that's $29,500. So price is very comparable, but both Lon and Bill would just as soon just have a heavy half.
Right.
And operations on that's quite a little bit cheaper, especially dealing with gas mileage.
Right.
And then just the way that they ride. You know, they're around town and would just as soon just have a half-ton pickup.
But the EcoBoost would be a good thing,
For fuel economy purposes, yeah.
because I had an EcoBoost in the last Ford I had, it was a lot better mileage.
Is there that much difference when it's just running around town, John? Or
Well, I don't, well, Bill would get out in the country, and Lon goes once a week to Storm Lake, and it seems like he goes to Carroll once a week, you know, like, for something, so. They don't drive it as much, or out in the country as much as you think, but they drive more than you really know. And it might be a lot better money when we go to get rid of them, on big iron, you know. But if we save just 1 mile per gallon, it's a good thing.
Over the course of time.
Over the course of time, it's a
They
better buy.
burn some gas.
And they're, from what I know, the motors are pretty trouble-free. We haven't had any trouble with these Fords, they're good trucks.
Right.
What's everybody think?
So we're looking at what then the price is? 29,550.
29,264.
Oh,
From
29,264 is from Champion in Carroll. And that's the EcoBoost.
yeah.
I like that
They're
one.
cheaper in Carroll, that's the cheapest one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was $218 cheaper. I would tell you we've had the discussion with Carroll over the years, and they've felt kind of slighted over the deal, and they truly are low this time. You need to, I think, honor a little bit.
Yeah.
So you're gonna buy both of them then?
Yep,
I
Both
suppose
red?
so. Yeah. Pardon me?
Both red?
Yep,
Yep.
they're red.
yep.
Yeah.
That's what we wanted. We wanted to compare some locals, so.
Yep,
Yeah, that's fine. Fine with me.
Well, that $200 wouldn't last very long, have to drive to Carroll versus Doty Boat. But I don't know if you gotta take the lowest bid or not.
well, well, they're never gonna give us another bid if we slide them again.
Well,
And if, they gotta honor the warranty at Beckman if there's a Ford, they gotta do it. So.
Well, they both got good
Yeah, and if we turn around and get a
jobs.
Dodge from Beckman, he'll be happy anyway, so it's not like he's not getting
I
anything.
mean, they both got good shop.
Yeah,
You know, they're
yeah.
both good shop, good outfits.
We'd need a motion to approve the purchase of the two from Champion and Carroll, if everybody's okay with that.
I can make that motion.
Second,
I'll second it.
roll call.
Okay, thank you.
Yes?
Reese,
Yes.
Waltman,
Yep.
Huss,
Yes.
Cleveland.
yes.
But the police pickup is different.
Yeah. Let's see,
Yeah.
he's gonna have a lot higher price, I think.
No,
Police starts on page 27, then you want to explain that, Ted?
You notice Champion Ford didn't give us a
Cause they don't have Dodges. Oh, they do over
bid
at
for the Ford.
Rockwell. Ow.
We tried to get a bid for a Ford pickup. We're the cause, the reason why they, at one point in time, they were, I think it was $300 difference when we went to Odebo, and now they honored their commitment, they never allowed us to bid again.
yep,
But they left the other two.
yep. But I think we certainly don't want a Ford Explorer, because every time we got done with them in the past, they're junk. They're no good.
I think the only person that likes them is the one that gets the refurbished stuff, still likes it.
I still like them
Yeah.
for hand-me-downs. That's the way to go. But
Yeah. But the
So-
Dodge pickup we got now is just fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I really like it.
Yep.
All right, like I said last time, our younger officers don't like pickups, but the older ones do, so.
Yeah.
And for the price, I really can't see why we would spend the extra, in order to get the Explorer that's comparable to the pickup that we have, you know, you're up into the police package of 29,000 to spend whatever that is.
Yep.
So you're just suggesting the bid on page 27, the 1,500 crew cab?
Yes.
I'll make a motion, we accept that bid.
Second?
I'll second.
Roll call.
Okay, Wiltman,
Yes.
Huss,
Yes.
Reese,
Yes.
Stankin,
Yes.
Cleveland.
Yes.
There we go. Thanks, Ted.
Just make sure, Ted, that that thing doesn't get delivered before July. 'Cause
How about the other thing?
it's budgeted for next year.
Yeah.
The other two are budgeted for this current year, Ted's is budgeted for next year.
They could do it, but they just aren't gonna get paid till after then.
And they've done that in the past too, but
Yep.
I don't see it probably being ready by then.
No, 'cause it takes a couple months for the police package. They only make them at certain times of the year. Okay. City Administrator report.
Yeah, just a couple
Water
of things.
tower.
Yeah, I just want to talk about our water tower project. And make sure that we're approaching this in a way that the council is comfortable with. That you had always intended we would just bid this locally, using city staff to prepare a spec, and we would take competitive quotes on that spec. I think it meets the state requirements for quoting. We would quote the interior and exterior work separately. It fulfills the requirements of the state requirements for quoting versus bidding. And we are able to then base some of our bid documents off of the last time the project was done. It was engineered. Keelan Pyre did the engineering on it. We have all those documents, and we can base our numbers, our
Footage.
documents off of that and be able to bid it with two really big caveats. First thing is, both Lon and I are not at all expert on coatings. You know, what type of coatings would go on this, and if, as we would bid the type of coatings, what we'd really be doing is working with vendors and taking a lot of vendor advice on what type of coating we expect. Okay, so that's the first thing. Second thing deals with inspection. We would have a real difficult time with inspections. Lon's willing to do just about anything for us. He does not want to inspect the water tower paint job.
But engineering would add how much to this?
Figure a minimum's 10%.
17,000.
So isn't there any way we could talk to other towns that have done
Yeah.
some work on their water towers to see what kind of coating they used, whether they like it, don't like it?
Sure.
See who they got to inspect it?
Well, can't we get, whoever's gonna do it, whoever we propose to do it, ask for references and call those cities and,
Oh yeah, sure.
I mean.
Yeah, that'd be part of the bid process. We
I
would
mean,
take
that-
references on it.
That would take that into consideration, won't it?
How about like, talk to, say Sherman-Williams or these big paint?
Well, there's a really just a handful of real reputable water tower painting firms,
Hmm,
and we'd talk with them all.
sure.
Okay.
I think that.
I just want to make sure that everybody's on board, and when the paint fails to adhere on that,
See, it's your fault.
well, that's just it. I'm getting really leery about that.
Well, check with the town of Lytton, because I
So that
don't know,
Lytton had all those problems.
they had a lot of problems.
Terrible.
But it wasn't just, I don't recall whether there was a problem with the paint, sticking, but something happened and paint went all over people's properties.
Oh, as it was being painted, yeah, yeah.
The spray and the wind and
Yeah.
the cars.
That
and-
sounds like the,
We would speculate, excuse me, we would spec that the outside application is probably rolled on. It's not sprayed.
Oh,
So if we see a dump truck full of 3M, your Rusticator paint cans, we're in trouble.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But that's just something that you would never even think that anybody
Well,
would.
yeah, but you go about checking the references first of all.
Right.
And they can see what problems, cities are gonna talk about their problems
Yep.
if you go ask about them. So ask for the references. And one of the things I would find out if they got insurance in case that would happen.
Right.
Oh, that'll be part of the bid
You
spec.
have to.
Yeah.
You gotta have certain,
Liability, yeah.
it
I mean,
is, you know,
Funding.
our spec would be the same procedurally as what it would be if we used an engineer. They got to work through this competitive quoting process that includes all necessary bonding, bid bonds, performance bonds, and then also stipulates insurance amounts.
Okay, yeah.
So,
But we got 30 days where we could get other cities that did it, what they did, what to look for, and that would give everybody a little information.
Yeah, we can do that.
Before we ever got to it, you could say, well, we've talked to this guy, they used this paint, they didn't do this. Or,
And we can.
yeah. I have great confidence in you and Lon.
Nothing else sounds like a road trip to me.
I think they're painting one in Florida right now.
Hey,
Yeah, I think I'll run down there and look at that.
That's, but you just can't make it in the blind either, though.
No,
I understand,
no.
but, you could,
I-
we've done it once, it ain't like we've never done it, so we've got a good foundation
Yeah.
to build off of, so
I've
that's
got a
it.
template there.
Yeah, so we'll just have to see what happens.
like I say, I'm.
And if we have any
I'm okay
doubts, we
doing
can
this,
also,
so.
we have any doubts, you don't have to rush into it either, I'm just saying.
so what kind of guarantee did they put on the last one?
I don't know.
I mean,
But
yours.
We can, there'll be a couple different kinds of things, because I'm sure that the product itself has a guarantee. But the workmanship, oftentimes 2 years on a performance bond would be about it, or on a maintenance bond.
Is that
By
like
then,
taillight
your
warranty?
sum would be changing, I would think.
Yep. The other thing I really want you to look at is actually go look at the water tower, and we need to decide how it is that you would like to have it painted. As in, would the paint scheme change at all? And I want to pitch a couple things to you. First thing is, do you want to paint the light blue fluted column? The column has never really been repainted. When the thing was built in the 80s, it was light blue and dark blue. Okay, and then so the column is the original color. So would you like to paint that a consistent color with the rest of the tank? But the other thing is, think about this. Is there a way that we could basically paint the bottom half of the wine glass part a darker color, with the purpose being that you don't see the mildew showing up on a darker paint color. So just
Is that
kind of
what's on
envision that in your mind, and we'll talk about that some more.
Is that what's on Saks? Like, it looks like it's running over all the time.
If it looks dirty, that's the mold and
Mildew.
mildew. Yeah.
We've got a good start up there, huh?
Yeah, we perpetually have problems with it up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I haven't.
And you'll see it, the tank sweats, and it comes down, and it'll always be right where the underside of the tank starts, or it starts to come in on the side. That's water will start to drip there, and it's just a part that's always wet.
Of course, I suppose they want to paint that before it gets, fairly little cool, but not hot, because when it's real hot, then,
Yeah,
I don't think that's a good time. It dries away, too fast.
yeah, we'll have to check on the spec
Right.
about what the temperature requirements are, but, as far as it being wet or anything like that, of course, the tower's drained
Yeah.
for this entire operation, so it's, they can do it anytime, they just can't do it in the rain, but.
Well, yeah. Some people think it's all latex paint thing painted in the rain. I don't agree with that.
So,
We will continue to do a lot of exploring and get us back ready to go.
good news about the geese.
What's the good news about the geese, Mayor?
We had a watershed meeting up at Higgy Park, and they talked for an hour and a half about nitrates, phosphorus. I said, well, what about the geese? So there's a DNR guy up at Okoboji that's in charge of maybe helping us thin them out a little bit. They talked about oiling the eggs. They talked about an ambush and shooting a bunch. But, you know, that'd be in the city limits towards Ice House Point, and we'd have to work in coordination with those guys, but there is hope that we could thin them
Well,
out.
they're gonna have to do something.
Yeah.
Should see him flying out, when I was coming home about 6 o'clock.
Oh my God.
There was about 4 large groups, and I mean large groups.
You watch the next couple of days now when it's real cold, they'll sit down. I wonder how many there, have they ever tried, I mean, any kind of count
I
at
don't
all,
know.
I mean, there's gotta be.
But we can work with Clint, right? And he's gonna help us.
Yeah, you know, Clint's very much in favor of wanting to do something to get control of this. Now, Clint is the new wildlife guy. And, like I say, he's very much in favor of this. He's talking about this fella from Spirit Lake who is more of an expert in the kind of the how to handle this overpopulation of Canadian geese. So it would be that we would have to formulate a plan about how to do this. You know, they won't just run headlong into doing something. It would be a multifaceted plan about how to do things. But one of the things that was discussed is to allow a hunting season on them. Now, this is not something that likely happens this spring. They talked like September on a hunting season. Now, I guess I'm just looking for some feedback from you as far as, you know, you like this idea. Is this something we really want to pursue? I know the mayor absolutely wants to pursue it.
Get rid of them.
But just know that there's bound to be some pushback from some people. Whether it's the discharging of firearms in the city limits, you know, there's just some general people who, animal rights people, anti-hunting, plus then lake property owners, and you'll have people shooting guns off right outside their house.
But they weren't gonna just let anybody shoot them. It's supposed,
Well, yeah.
I mean, they're gonna have the right people here to do it. So.
Well, but don't they also have like some cities, don't they use, like it's not really a gun going off, but it's like a small.
They talk about that, like they have a cannon that
Right.
would go off.
But they
And
get used to
Yeah,
it.
they get used to it, they said.
Yeah. I
It don't bother them,
suppose.
you know.
Yeah.
But if you make them a non-repeat offender, they don't come back.
Well, that's exactly right.
Right. They
That's-
could oil the eggs, they'll go out, and then they won't hatch. If you
But I-
smash the eggs, then they just lay more. But if you oil them, they'll keep sitting and sitting and sitting, and they won't do it. You know? We don't want to get rid of them all. We just don't need 10,000 of them here.
No,
10's about the right number.
10.
I would say. Good deal, you make a
Right.
motion there.
But they talk about if you shoot them for 2 days, then they seem to disappear because they don't want to be the ones on the
Well,
third
one of
day.
the problems this year, I thought they turned the aerators on.
But they'll keep the water open without aerators. Canadians can do that. As long as
Yeah, I
there's
know,
food,
but-
they'll eat.
But they had a good start because they left them aerators run so early this year.
Yeah.
I don't know if they was afraid they wasn't gonna start or what.
I know. But it's good for the fish, and we want to be a fishing lake too,
Yep.
so.
Oh, and the feces is good for them, yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't know if that's good for, but open water. But they said the Canadians can keep the water open but without aerators. They'll,
But you gotta get,
Sure.
what, so much snow on top of the ice before they don't get no
Right,
oxygen
right.
too.
and
So
if the snow covers the fields, then they'll go somewhere where there's food.
maybe they ought to put it out, the aerators on the bigger part of the lake, you know, but, you know, instead up here in the bay.
Yeah, but the good news is the DNR is willing to help us thin them down somewhat. And
I think we should just work with the DNR and try to put a plan together.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
But
mean,
we
I
wanna
don't
make-
have no problem with it.
Yeah.
Jerry, what do you think? I mean,
I don't know what else.
give them another summer to walk through the
Yeah.
stone
Yeah.
pier, stepping in it.
Yeah. It's like anything we do, there's gonna be a few people that don't like it.
yeah.
You just gotta,
Well, therefore, you know, I think one of the biggest problems was a few years ago when they, you know, didn't turn the aerators on, then people started feeding them down. That was one of the biggest problems, I think, they ever had,
it's, yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
You know, people that think that when they're starving, well, hell, they can.
Yeah, they've lived long before we got here.
Yeah.
Couple other things, just a little update on our on our linemen and their work in their apprenticeship program. Things are really picked up here during the wintertime because they have been doing a lot more studying and routinely completing tests. So remember again that this apprenticeship program is actually they call it a 4-year thing, but it's 4 programs that ideally, it could take up to about a year to complete each one. Brian, of course, is much more advanced. He's been hitting this pretty hard now. Brian has finished all of his year 3 stuff and had passed all of those exams, and then working on all of the unit tests on year 4, and actually may have completed that even yet today on all of his unit tests. Would take his year 4 exam shortly, and when he finds out that he's passed that year 4 exam, then he's eligible to sit for what will be the final. Okay, and in that case, it's a paper exam where he goes down to Ankeny to do that. Okay, so kind of three tiers of testing. They do all these unit tests, and they're all done online. So you see Jeff and Brian down here quite a bit, and they're staring up at the screen because the two of them are working together to work through all of these exams. Now Brian's a lot more advanced through the testing parts, but Jeff's doing basically a lot of the same things, and will be able to do that then as soon as he's able to work into the program. Remember, we're only supposed to have 1 in there at a time. And so, but this 1 in there at a time was that basically you can only have 1 guy who's going to sit for the final at a time. Jeff has been doing some work. He's finished his year 1. He's into year 2 right now. And then, again, as soon as Brian's finished with everything, then Jeff can continue to proceed forward. So everything's coming together pretty nicely, especially here this wintertime. They've been doing a lot of work. Beach testing. We will be eligible to have our beach water tested through the state hygienic lab, and it'll be a weekly sampling done along the same schedules as what the DNR does to test the waters out. They test theirs out at 30 acres. Okay, we can participate in that same program, test Camp Crescent or Crescent Beach water, and there is no charge to participate. We just need to let them know that we want to, and our staff does the collections and sends it in. Seems like we should participate, you know.
Is that a double-edged sword?
Well, you will have the answers to your questions, you know.
Yeah.
But by and large, I think that you want to do that. You need to know what you're working with.
Well, that might help your argument of getting rid of the heat.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, a lot of, people go on Sunday and swim and come out with a rash on Monday or Sunday afternoon, and that ain't a good thing either.
Well, the other thing about that, though, is we find out that we have a problem, we would post our beach.
Right.
And at least let everybody know what the situation is.
Yeah.
Okay, I would intend to...
Them geese would be a lot of help.
Yeah. I would respond that we have to participate then.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. We're still working on our donor board for Pier 25.
Yep.
Lon is going to be able to work on a project here for us this winter. This would be a proposal about what to do for a Pier 25 project. And again, the donor board is kind of the same notion as what we've done before. The Pier 25 logo probably goes out towards the street, and then donors are noted on the back side of the donor board as you would actually be able to be in the playland area, look up, see the donors. So here's a proposal, and this would be down there at the curve of the street where we had talked about putting traffic barriers down there. And then this doubles as that traffic barrier. So this is actually right on the south side then of the Pier 25 playland area. There's a sidewalk down there, and then this is actually on the north side of the sidewalk. So anyway, the idea here, again, we have Lon's imagination working, is these things are streetlights. The functioning lights, probably blue with an acorn light up on top. Center area is a bike rack at the bottom. And again, more posts than holding up the Pier 25 sign. And then the idea would be to tie that all together and have hanging benches there. You know, have these swinging swings mainly for parents. You know, as the parents are sitting there watching their kids, and they'd be able to swing in these nice benches.
Sure.
But that would keep somebody from coming down that hill going through it
Yeah.
and hitting the kids.
Now, it's just an idea. We'll talk with the Pier 25 ladies and the park board and see what their feedback is, because it's different than anything else we had talked about before.
Yeah.
But ties
So
in
money
the
comes out, the city pays for that, or they, Pier 25, they got money left?
they probably don't have enough money to pay for this whole thing. They have about $2,500 to contribute to the sign, and got to pay for. If we would not use street light poles, it'd probably not pay for it. But probably figure $1,000 for each street light too.
But it looked pretty cool down there.
Yeah.
Either way, we gotta put something up there no
Yep.
matter what, because
Got it.
it got hit once.
That's
It
right.
didn't get hit again,
Right.
so
Something needs to be done.
let that would tie in there. Be a nice little, it's not a bad idea.
We had talked, Dave, briefly about the Mid-American rebates for the school, and didn't come up with any leads on that. You know, we need to be retail customers. And Bill had thought that same thing too. He was looking at retail customers. And that's memorial update, Mayor.
We're at 43,000 so far. We've sent a check down to the monument people for 15,000 the other day. That pays for half of the granite. They wanted 15,000 before they order it. And we're gonna put solar powered lights on all the flags so that it doesn't take any electricity and it's environmentally friendly. And there was some extra money laying around that
We've had
Did you say that?
several $100s of money in an account, $500 some dollars, to be used for green energy, and we could actually be able to use that as a small green energy project.
But we gotta, Healy's is donating the dirt, and Hallett's gonna do the cement. And I may have to come back and ask the city to let Lon and his crew do it, and Bill, that way it'll be done the way he wants it, and if we have a contractor come in, he's gonna be down there anyway. And the only guy that can do it right's Lon, so. Anyway, that's something done. Cause we're gonna fix the water fountain.
Gonna do it on city time then, or?
Yeah, there's two pours, the form and for the foundation and the slab, and that's all they're gonna do.
I mean, that way we don't have to get bids on it if he's doing it on
Right,
city time.
right. But we're gonna fix the water fountain this spring. We've already ordered some of the repair parts for it, so. So that whole area will be, and the water line that used to have a garden hose buried under the ground, we're gonna actually put a water line now, instead of a garden hose that got buried there years ago. But we ordered the stuff to fix the water fountain.
It had
It's-
two large brass circular circles with all of the nozzles on it that actually just like the original ones. And McKenna really getting the fountain back to be in what the original condition was.
Good.
So we have these two rings coming, got the pump today,
Okay.
and still working on some notions about what you can do with lighting, because you can do some dramatic stuff with lighting now too, so.
That could be
And
light.
actually not that expensive on the lighting, so.
It could be colored,
Yeah,
more
well, that's-
colorful.
Yeah, but Lon has, but we didn't wanna put plastic ring around there, cause the kids take rocks and bust the plastic pipe.
Yeah.
So we can't fix it, so we had to go back to the original brass, so. It's gonna look, and we'll get that water line fixed, so it's actually a water line instead of a garden hose buried in the dirt, so. Somebody stuck us there. But the memorial, we may have to have a pancake in the end, but money comes in a couple $100 every day, so. We think if we get to 50,000, that's about what we'll need, cause the poles are about $1,000 a piece. Cause these are inside lanyards, so the vandals can't lower the flag. And we'll put the poles inside, it's gonna be a 6-sided. We're only gonna put 4, 4 benches, and the flags, it'll be this cement will be the same dimensions of here. We'll put the poles inside the cement, so the city guys just mow around it, they don't have to weed whack. And then we'll put the 2 rocks there and the 2 American flag. We're gonna put the American flag on probably a 30-foot pole, and then we can put the POW underneath it, and then the Iowa flag will be on its own.
What's the status of the sitting plaza then, Mayor?
The sitting plaza's off the table, so that cuts out everybody's upset. And,
Well, I think that's,
yeah, I mean, that was
I
the
think
original, it
that's
was
good.
fine, but if everybody's upset, we'll just leave that alone, we'll just do the Vets Plaza and let it go. So. That will, although I gotta tell you, I had as many people come up and said, boy, that should have been by the lake. I said, well, you didn't say nothing. Oh, no, I don't want any part of that. So, anyway, it's gonna be in a good
nice.
spot, and things are doing fine. So
It'll look good.
yeah.
It'll look
this'll
really
be
good.
fine.
And we're looking for the light that goes in the middle that shines up yet. We're still trying to do an LED because that's the new stuff. So
Right.
it has to be vandal proof, so that when the kids get up on top of it, try to bust the lens, it has to be vandal proof, so. Bill's looking
As
for
long as you
that.
don't put no steps on it, should be fine.
A 6 foot tall and a 6-pack of
To
beer can
jump
make them
pretty high.
brave, you know. But it should be vandal proof and there's no maintenance to the city, so
Alright,
things are well.
We will be doing employee performance evaluations coming up here in the next month too, and including mine, which I would probably schedule for either like a month from now, 16th of March, or then right away first meeting in April. And I'd ask you to do what would end up being a much more in-depth performance evaluation and on forms that are actually from the International City Management Association. In order to retain my credential as manager, I need to have this in-depth evaluation done every 5 years or something like that. And I need to get that stuff ordered, but hopefully I can count on you to do this. It may be a bigger time commitment.
Well, we know
hopefully-
you give us time, so I think that's only fair.
Appreciate that. Western Iowa Tourism meeting on Wednesday.
so. I had some people come up to me last night at the fire meeting and they was concerned about Ragbri. Did you get word on? Oh,
No.
oh, somebody said that they had contacted us for somebody, coming through town again, and
Well, the route said it goes to Stone Lake.
well, this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, in the year or two down the road, you haven't heard nothing.
Well, I could say that we haven't heard anything.
Oh,
And the other thing is we have to ask them. You apply to Ragbri.
well, and that's what they was concerned about, is they think we're losing too many people to help, so they were concerned that we wouldn't wanna do that.
We only get 200 people to help anyway.
I know, but it's, well, just like the
That's still a year-by-year thing,
Methodist Church, now they're ready, they're taking their stand out, right?
We're still working on it. I'm not ready to give up on that. I don't want to lose that stand for Water Carnival. It's a big deal. Go
I
ahead.
know, I don't, well, I mean, I
Big
don't
deal for
either,
Water
'cause-
Carnival.
Yeah, I like the pie, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I like eating these pie down by the lake or whatever.
But we haven't asked Ragbri to come here.
No. They're,
Well,
We
no.
still got 5
We
years to
still
get
got,
over it.
yeah, we gotta get over it first.
I know. And I'm really kind of serious about that. If they come here once every 10 years, that's about.
Oh, I think so too.
Yeah.
I'd like, personally, I'm gonna leave town and have it, so. Hell with this shit.
Yeah, but it usually happens at Ragbri. Your shift starts at 5 in the morning and at 2 you get to go home. That's the shift in Lakeview. That's what mine
2 a.m.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's about right.
This is a long one.
it's a long one.
Yeah.
That's really all that I had, but I would ask that we would go into a closed session to discuss some legal matters.
We have a motion to go into closed session.
So
Second,
I'll second.
roll call.
Boltman.
Yep.
Reese.
Yes.
Huss. Thank you.
Yes.
Cleveland.
Yes.